Hi, today I wanted to talk about colors. Choosing colors for your piece and how to improve your ability to do so. And I'm not saying I'm super good at it. In fact, I often struggle with colors, but maybe my tips could help someone who is just starting out. So, if I was about to start learning how to use colors, the first advice I would give myself would be learn about color theory. I have never went to an art school, but I think all about color theory you can Google, and all the color schemes, variations, triads and such, you can easily find all this information out there. But I'd say that speaking about color theory, I think I prefer using complementary colors. They seem work very good for me. And it's the main color scheme I use. And for example, I love how orange and purple work together, and I wouldn't just take pure vibrant purple and pure vibrant orange, but I would take variations of those, like colors with different hue, saturation, and values. And there are websites that are based on color theory, and they usually have a color wheel, and you can pick a color and choose a color scheme, and they will give you matching colors options that would look appealing. And I will leave some links for you in the description. So, the next thing you want to know is what is a gamut mask and how to use it. Shortly speaking, it's like a mask over your color wheel, and it restricts your color choice, so you can only choose colors in the masked area. You can find James Gurney's video about gamut masks on YouTube. Krita has a tool for gamut masks, but if you are using any other software, there are websites with gamut mask as well, so I will leave some for you in the description. Speaking of websites, if at start you are struggling with colors, there are sites with ready palette presets. Mostly they are based on photographs, and I think there is even a website with palettes that are made of movie screenshots, so you can use that, and of course I will leave you a link in the description. And if you're using Procreate, for example, you can take a picture and create a palette based on this picture. And moving on, my next advice would be make color variations for your artwork. I usually roughly put colors on the canvas with big opaque brush, and then I copy this layer several times and change colors. And after that I put it all together and see which one I like the most. If you watched my previous video where I talked about character poses, in the footage at start you could have seen I put color variations all together as reference outside the canvas. In Krita it's possible with reference tool. And since I mostly talk about digital art, don't forget that you can change anything here, any colors of any stage of the way, and even more so if you work in layers. For example, I usually keep my flats in a separate group, so I could change colors any moment. And for that, mostly I'm using hue saturation, Ctrl U, and in the end, if I want to change the whole picture, I prefer using color balance, Ctrl B, or I use curves. And also don't forget that your base colors will change slightly when you put light and shadows, so they will be slightly different. And maybe you are using some effects like color dodge, overlay, soft light and all that. That will affect your original colors as well. And if you paint digitally, you can check your values, your value contrast. And in any software for digital painting, it's very easy to do. You can create a layer, put it on top, fill it with black and set layer mode to color. I usually lock this layer, and when I need to check values, I turn it on and off. And if you think your values are not working and you often struggle, maybe you can try to paint in white, black, gray, in grayscale, and when you are satisfied with your values and you think it looks good in grayscale, you can add colors using layer modes such as soft light, hard light, multiply, overlay, and there are a lot of tutorials how to do so. However, I usually don't like this method, or more like it doesn't work for me, but who knows, maybe it's something you'll be more comfortable with. And the last one, if you are in any social media and follow any artists you like, there is usually an option to save the picture into a collection, make a bookmark. So for example, on Instagram you can organize these collections, make separate collections for color, light, character design, portraits, and so on. And on ArtStation as well, I think. And if you don't use social media, you can use Pinterest for that. This way you can slowly build that collection with color references, and you can try to analyze why you like certain colors, what color scheme it is, and this will help you improve your sense of color over time. And that's it for today. I hope at least something of it was helpful and you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions or video ideas, please ask away. See you next time. Bye!